Greetings and welcome to New Dawn, presentation 5. It's funny, it sort of occurred to me after making number 3 and number 4 how with those two numbers, number 3 was about gardening, so that's creation, so you could say that's divine feminine. Number 4 was sort of shining a light, so that's like the divine masculine. So number 5, this presentation, really it's a response to a really interesting challenge. For those of you that haven't listened to it, I suggest listening to Quantum of Conscience. Listen to what Matt's challenge is. It's a brilliant thought exercise, and it sort of got me stumped for an answer for quite a while. Basically, you invite a dinner guest, one of the leading sort of names of the useful idiots of this system, this not milk system, as he calls it. You're disqualified if they turn out to be fake. Well, that's really set a challenge. And it could be an historical figure, but without knowing what real history is, and is the criteria on knowing the original names of these characters. I mean, I think he said about Genghis Khan, Marco Polo. Don't even know if they're real at all, any of these characters. I can't take any of the politicians or anything as being serious because they're just character parts, so that disqualifies them. I can't take anybody in a mask seriously either, so even if they were somebody who's going to appear on television and saying something, well, they're out. The only one, if anything, that I could come up with would be Thoth. But does that class as a human? Because, I mean, it's the bird-headed deity, I suppose, for want of a better word. So maybe it's just showing one of its 4 faces, so technically is that human? So I think perhaps the only way I could answer this is, well, why do I have to invite a dinner guest? But I'm the king here, in my universe. They can come and look for me and invite me, and then I'll decide whether I want to even be at the same table as them anyway. So I think that would be my answer to that one. I'm not going to hold my breath and wait for, I don't know, Hillary Clinton or whoever to send me an invite. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're even real characters as such anyway. I don't think they're real people. They're characters, but I don't think they're real people. I think they're just there for the media scripts. It's the same as you encounter these people. I had one yesterday, and this woman was, "Can you keep away?" And I just ignored her, and she said, "Do you not understand English?" And I said, so in the end I said, "Look, if you want to be an idiot, that's up to you." I said, it's not any supposed virus that's going to kill everybody, it's going to be your own fear. I said, but carry on. But of course she took it as an offensive term because I'd called her an idiot. I mean, idiot just means someone who's ill-informed. So I wasn't actually insulting her anyway, but she just took it that way. That's not my problem. I'd rather they just didn't speak at all. I think next time one of them does, I shall just ask them for an original thought. And I shan't hold my breath waiting for that. And depending on what they come out with, I'll probably end up saying, "No, you're just repeating media scripts. Give me an original thought of your own." Which, of course, they're not going to be able to do. See, it's not just them that can play rigged games. We can all play rigged games with having competitions and things. I mean, a match competition, I don't even want to win. I don't want a tour of going around Washington monuments and showing the long historical association between Greece and Rome and the United States anyway. I think I'd rather go and look at the Georgia Guidestones, if anything. Yeah, not a very particularly pleasant, aesthetically pleasing structure, but at least has a little bit more credibility than the narratives we're given for, oh, well, pretty much everything in this reality. It's, well, it's, what can you say about it, really? I'll just be glad when this shit show's over. Still, it's a lovely blue sky. I've got some work today. I'm going to be putting together some flat pack cupboards because that's difficult for some people to do. But yeah, something to do and something slightly different and very nice sort of transaction. I get paid in something smokable. So I'm happy, they're happy, and all good, and I can enjoy the sunshine. Again today, it's supposed to be a really hot one today, so even better. And look, we're getting there with a tan. Look, at this rate, I'm going to have to strip off and just go. Mind you, I was thinking yesterday, I'll blend in with that flag if I'm not careful. You won't be able to see me, I'll be invisible. Yeah, so this is coffee time chats. It's not even 7 o'clock in the morning yet. I woke up, had a coffee, went back to bed, and then the brain started turning over thoughts. Oh, and watch the last couple of videos by Maz Roots channel. They're amazing. It pretty much sums up how this sort of reality is and how ridiculous people are being. There's something else I turned around and said to this woman in the shop. She said, we're only following rules. I said, yeah, and if the government told you to jump off a cliff, you'd probably do it. I said, you're that stupid, all of you. There's no helping some people at all, is there? And I do use the term people in the very broadest and loosest sense, because they are peepholes. They're not seeing a picture at all. They're just peeping through little cracks on the little bits they're given, and they can't join the pieces up together. But that's up to them. That's their lesson. That's where they are on this Ludo board, this LUDO board. They'll have to go back to the start and start all over again. They're not going to make it to the finish line. I'm starting to wonder. I think maybe the closest neighbour, apart from Rosie, is going to be about 60, 70 miles away from here, the way things are going, because I'm seeing very few real people about anywhere. It's incredible the number that are. There's just nothing to them. They seem to be totally devoid of souls. Or what bit there is, it's just like a dying ember of a candle wick that's been snuffed out. There's a faint little glow, and even if you do ask them something or show them something that makes them start to question, they don't want to go any further with it anyway, and they go back in the box again, and it's all forgotten the next day. They've got some sort of amnesia going on as well. It's incredible. Interesting thought as well, apparently with I think it's Alzheimer's, that within the last sort of couple of hours they get full cognitive functions back, which goes to show that even that is a complete lie. I listened to a conversation about meningitis, and we've got to have a vaccine for that one. The other ones are bad, but that one's an important one to have. Well, what exactly is meningitis? It's funny, I seem to remember that's another one of these things with this multiple diagnosable symptoms, and I wonder if that is even real. And that just seems to follow the same pattern as this current nonsense as well. That something that isn't quantified, and it possibly could be this, and listen to various things about what doctors put down on a death certificate of causality and secondary causalities. You do start to question everything and find that there is no answer. It really is a case of finding that there aren't answers, no definitive answers to these things, and we know absolutely nothing. Same as racking my brains trying to find an historical figure that I'd want to have as a dinner guest, but without even knowing what the history is and what is even real, I know absolutely nothing. So yeah, they could come and find me and ask me if I want to join them as a dinner guest, and I will most likely say no, because I don't know whether they're real or not. I really don't. Anyway, just a few thoughts for presentation 5. Don't want this to go on for too long. What are we up to? 10:44 we just saw there. Amazing how these number sequences go, it really is. And same as the ringing in the ears, it's there pretty much all the time. When it's quiet, I can detect it. I think it's because it is pretty constant that most of the time I'm not even aware of it, but it is still there when it's quiet, where you can hear a pin drop or a clock ticking. Then that's when it sort of notices. But I'm not going into that being a fear thing, and it's not tinnitus, that's for sure. It definitely changes in pitch depending on who I talk with and who I connect with, and it's some sort of frequency for definite. Maybe this unknown language that this universal language that we're so far removed from. So, a few thoughts there, and apart from that, nothing's changed for me. There really is nothing, and that's the best place to be. It's an awful weight off the shoulders. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I haven't got this right, but I don't think it's long to wait to find out. And I'd rather go with this idea of the magnetism above everything else. It seems to make the most sense to me. Certainly the most plausible of all the things that are being put about at the moment. So yeah, could be very interesting, and I think we're just going to have a very different world with an awful amount of abundance and stillness and peace and quiet. Maybe a bit of clearing up to do, but who knows what is this reality really anyway, and what really is real. Anyway, I'll leave that there and wish you all a wonderful day wherever you are in the world and whatever you're doing. May it be a good one, and just stay in high vibration, I think, is the best thing. So ta-ta for now.